welcome to another episode of the Destiny Truthcast. This is episode 19. I am Lost Souls, and I'm here today with RedWingGirl. How are you today, Redwing?
I'm doing really well. How are you, Souls?
Doing well. Great to have you back on. With us today, we have three guests from the forums. We actually have two that have been here before. iDovahbear, how are you doing, iDovah?
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
And Ravenous, LD13, is it 1331 or is it 3341?
It's 3341, and it's great to be back.
And Laughing Man 911, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. And so something with Ravenous and Dova we've been doing since the last time you guys were on, just to have everyone tell us a little about yourselves. Dova, if you could let everyone know a little bit about you.
Yeah, obviously an avid gamer. You know, I played a lot of RPGs and MMOs, and I like to write in my spare time sometimes with friends.
What do you write?
Usually it's, I guess you'd consider it roleplay. Sometimes it's just free-form writing, though, you know, poetry or something.
Oh, that's really cool. You ever, like, publish anything, or just do this hobby?
It's just a hobby.
Very cool. What about you, Ravenous?
Well, you know, I'm an avid gamer. Just finally, believe it or not, got to upgrade to a PS4 just fairly recently, which I'm pretty excited about. So since then, I've streamed a lot of things on Twitch, and I've been getting into the whole social side of the gaming thing, and you know, I'm having a great time doing that.
That's very cool. The whole Twitch thing, it seems very cool, but it seems like that would be something that would be take a lot of dedication to get into and do all that.
Well, you know, I definitely don't get as crazy as everyone else. I don't do the whole give me money donation deal. I just get on there, stream what I'm playing, and if people come by to watch, great. If they leave a comment, you know, I'll try my best to respond to them. But, you know, I'm definitely not the kind of guy that's going to be doing it every single day. That's just way too crazy for me.
And what's your Twitch, if anyone out there wants to check it out?
It's twitch.tv/RavenouSLD3341.
Very nice. And so also today we have our first guest from Australia. Laughing Man, how are you today? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm great today. Thanks for having me. I've been playing games, I don't know, since ever I can remember. I used to play Halo back on Xbox 360 until I saw the light and moved to PlayStation. Also, I play a lot of real-time strategy games on my PC, and that's about it.
Very cool. And how is life down in Australia today?
Well, at the moment we're in winter, and I'm on the west coast, so we get all the weather first, and at the moment we're having a massive thunderstorm.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Well, we're glad you were able to make it on today. What time is it there as we're here recording?
It's 11:30 in the morning.
Very nice, very nice. I'm sitting here at 10:30 at night. Well, I'm glad to have you all on. And so, very interesting day today. Obviously, we're recording on a Tuesday, which is a little different. Usually we're recording on Sundays, and it's because Bungie had a Twitch reveal today. And I was at work. I was not able to watch it, but Redwing, you were able to watch it live, and you were live tweeting me the stream as it happened, and I think we were both freaking out, and I really couldn't believe the first thing you told me. And if you want to just start in with the big reveal today.
Well, it was private matches. I almost fell on the floor.
I think I almost fell on the floor as I was at work when you sent me that. I believe that's probably about the last thing I expected to see come across. And I don't know about the rest of you, but yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
I got to admit, I was very, very surprised. I definitely didn't see this coming, but now that I think back on it, that explains all of the maintenance and a lot of probably the weird issues we've been seeing lately.
I kind of saw it coming because every time people ask for private matches, Bungie never shut it down. Normally when there's rumours floating around and it's wrong, they shut it down pretty quickly. If not, then Activision's pretty quick on it as well.
So, when the stream started up, to back up a little bit, there was also a new Vidoc for the expansion, and for anyone that's played this game for going into year 3 and the lack of story that's been in here, that is built up as we've progressed, from nothing at the start, and then slow a little bit in Dark Below, Warren House of Wolves, and then Taken King, it really started to pick up. It was really exceptional, I thought, seeing not just the characters with Saladin and what was going on there, but seeing the Guardians on the gondolas going across and fighting, being shot at. It was just really looked absolutely epic.
Yeah, it looks like they really put some time into the story. They just recently released that interview with the story writers on The Informer, and you can just tell that they really wanted to dig into the Grimoire and talk about some of the, there was so much story there, and people always say, why do we have to go and read these cards, elsewhere, and they made it a point to really try to put some of that in the story for this one, and I think it's really going to be interesting, and I'm glad that they're using the Grimoire as a way to expand on this story with the Iron Lords.
For the first time since the Taken King, I actually feel like I want to go out and play PvE when this finally drops. The story of the Iron Lords, everyone's been wondering, who are these Iron Lords? Why are we carrying the weapons? And why is only Lord Saladin the only last one standing?
I think there's a whole lot to explore here, and combined with the existing Grimoire, the future cards that we're going to get, and what they're going to put into the game, I'm expecting to see a whole lot of the story really come together when it comes to the Iron Lords anyways.
What's really nice is we might even see the raid finally incorporate some elements of the story inside it because of the relevance of the Iron Lords to Siva, like possibly being thralls to it of a sort.
I'm really excited for the raid too, but as a PvE primarily player, I have to say this private matches thing looks so much fun. The way that they have the menu set up, the way that they, show all the maps that we can play on and just have fun on, and it's not going to count. I mean, it does count, but it doesn't. You just be able to have fun with your friends, and I'm just so excited about these private matches.
I can definitely agree with that. I dread the Crucible, and I only do it during Iron Banner. And what this is going to give me the opportunity to do is to go in and explore a map and check it out and see what's in there and hop in there with my friends and play against them, and we can all kind of learn this stuff together, and maybe it will spark my interest in more of the PvP side of the game.
As a predominant PvP player, that's all I pretty much play now after I've done all the raids. Private matches opens a whole bag up for content creators, streamers, and just general people that want to play with their friends, muck around with weapons, try out new things, and explore so many maps, the different map types, and find good places to head glitch snipe, which I absolutely hate.
Well, you know how, a lot of people were asking for, a shooting range? Now you can actually go in and see, you and your friends can go in and test weapons and see how things work, like what best weapons work, how many, specific like little details that you can't really see in PvE, like patrols or things like that. Plus, if you're a PvE player, it gives you an opportunity to go in the maps and actually learn the maps so that you do actually understand the advantages and, where you should be in relation to where other, enemies are located. And I just think besides all of the fun that it's going to bring, I just think it's also going to an opportunity to, get clans back together. It's going to give people who want to do competitive gaming. It's going to open up a huge opportunity for those people, I think. So I'm excited. I think it's a door that I'm hoping that they'll allow to open for competitive gaming, so that, the way that they had shown the menu where you could select a map, you can select if you want it in day and night and vehicles and just all different things. I hope that eventually we get to that point where we can select any map we want to play. If we want to play Mayhem all the time competitively, and get the benefit from it, that we could actually do that. So I'm hoping this is like the first steps of achieving that.
Well, MLG's already announced a tournament to start on the 25th of September, which is 5 days after launch of Rise of Iron, and from what I got from the stream, you can play any game mode on any map. You can have from one person up to a full set of 12, and like you said, you can set the time of the day, the points limit, the time limit. I think that's so far all they're doing. I think then later on they'll add more features to make it become fully customized, but private matches has pretty much allowed Destiny to become competitive. Activision's moving really quickly to force it, to push it through MLG, and I reckon by this time next year you'll have a full MLG Pro circuit.
Yeah, that was one thing that I always would bring up in the forums. People would say, "Oh, this game is competitive." I'm like, look, for this game to have to be competitive, it needs, some kind of private matchmaking, so teams can be matched against other teams on purpose with, a standard set of conditions that somebody can control. That's something that is needed in tournaments and things like that, is a lot of consistency and a lot of reliability, and, private matches are going to bring all of that.
Not only did MLG announce this, but also Bungie has announced rules and guidelines which Bungie isn't enforcing. They wish people to follow if they want to have a nice, respectful and fair competition. And they did say there was a feature, it was a clan feature, which they call Club Room. So whoever starts up the private match, if you're in a clan, all your clan mates will show up on the list and you can select people to bring them in. But there's also a tribal warfare type game mode, which I think is their tournament setup type thing, where you can host your own tournaments.
The other thing I really like about this is it's not just about the competitive aspect. There will be Jimmy rigged custom modes of like, put on Mayhem, everyone use a sword, we're playing Rift, Griffball 2.0, and it'll just be great to see how people work with the settings we're given to make new fun custom modes for a casual audience.
Exactly.
I can definitely get behind that. That sounds like a blast. One thing I've always liked doing is getting into Rumble and killing my friends. That's a lot of fun, especially when we're all in the same party laughing at each other.
And now that we can freely access Mayhem, Rumble and Clash, or even 3s and 4s like that, you're gonna see a lot of content being pushed out and a lot of people having fun. And yes, this may be covering the lack of PvE content that we are getting in Rise of Iron. And if there is a DLC coming in April, if there is one, it may carry it across there, because I think you'll find a lot of PvP players will start heading towards Crucible and having their own private matches just to pass time while they wait.
Well, I think there's actually, we don't know about the PvE. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot more to be revealed there with the story. We haven't seen what all is behind the wall, but with the Raidens, whatnot. But something I want to go back to that you were talking about, Red Wing, was the fact that this might be a stepping stone to really developing this. And something that I posted a lot about in year one was matchmaking. And one of the things that I always said I wanted to see in Destiny was them to incorporate kind of, if anyone played Perfect Dark when it came out on the 360, or I haven't played all the Gears of War, but the original Gears of War I played to death, and the matchmaking system where you get in, which they're doing, and they announced today, get in a lobby with your friends and select the map, select the game types, and just go around game to game together. And I think it's incredible what they announced today, but as you're talking a stepping stone, what I was actually thinking about this is what I would like to see, if not in Rise of Iron, I don't think it'll happen, but in Destiny 2, is for this to be the way they progress with matchmaking going forward. And rather than have the private matches where we can get in these lobbies with 1 to 11 other of our friends, or go get in Clash or Mayhem such as we do now, for them to make it where we can start these lobbies, get 6 or 7 of our friends, get in a private match, and then we can fill out the rest of the however many spots. If we have 7, we can queue up 5 randoms to come join us, and then have our 12 and go match to match with those same 12 people and select our game types, select our game modes. And I think that is the future that I would love to see them push this to. And I don't know if that's really what you were thinking or along those lines, Red Wing, but I think that's an incredibly social way to game and to meet people under those circumstances, when you can bring them into a set lobby like that and progress together.
Well, a few podcasts ago, you had discussed what are the alternatives that Bungie could create for clans. And so what they had stated today was that by having that clan icon up on your screen where other people joined, it was meant to encourage others to join the clan. So they're taking 2 things, that one that you brought up before with what else can they do with clans, and 2, they're using it as an opportunity to create a way to pull more people together. So to answer your question, I don't think it's going to be an opportunity to create matchmaking. I actually think that they're going to stick with and promote the clan to pull people in into these larger games, or these private matches, or whatever type. I'm losing my train of thought, but the type of games that you're talking about, larger games. So I just don't think that they're ever going to budge on that matchmaking issue. I don't know why they don't just do optional matchmaking just on everything, so that you can just decide on your own if you want to have. I mean, like for example, I absolutely hate that I can't do a strike by myself, that I'm forced to do it with 2 other people. I wish they would remove it. So, but I think in terms of these larger, more competitive modes in these private matches, I think the clan and showing the clan name is going to promote more membership within those different clans. That's what I think they're trying to do.
I think they've noticed that, yes, everyone joins the clan, and then once you've done the raid with each other, maybe a few nightfalls and a few strikes, you really don't not many people actually continue playing with their clan members. A lot of clans separate, they go join new clans and the thing. This with this private match and this tribal warfare type game mode, which a lot of people are talking about, is that it encourages like clans to host their own tournaments, bring clan members together, have fun in the Crucible PvP, and maybe even start. They even might move this whole private lobbies to strikes, where we maybe future in Destiny 2 we can customize the strikes to make them like select our modifiers, choose how hard the bosses are. If the Taken is still there, choose if it's Taken, Sieva, or just an ordinary strike. I don't think they're going to head towards what you said, Sol, as in, like, if you only have 7 but you want to play a 12 game mode, then they'll just fight 5 randoms to join you, because they can cause conflict in, like, maybe you want to play Mayhem but they just want to play Control, you want to play on a certain map, they don't want to play on that map. It just offers more problems, and I don't think Bungie has enough problems to deal with at the moment. I don't think they want to cause more.
Well, not really. I mean, it's how Gears, did their matchmaking. People can look, and like I said, you can join a queue. If you're to play random, you're in a queue to join, and so obviously they could still keep the matchmaking that exists. I just think it would be cool to be able to fill out if people want to do a crapshoot and just join up with a group of people. Obviously whoever's hosting the lobby, the party lead is still going to be the one that's selecting the modifiers and game type. But I just think it would be an interesting way to look going forward. I want to talk about. We saw a little bit more of Supremacy today, and get people's thoughts on what they showed with the gameplay.
Personally, when it comes to what is basically a kill confirmed game type, I gotta say I'm kind of interested. I like the idea of being able to deny score to the enemy team. And I've always liked objective-based game modes. That's just the kind of things that I've always liked. So I think it'll be a real good time. And it'll change tactics. Instead of spreading your party out, everybody's going to want to stay clumped up. It also introduces a few different risks, a few different rewards. I think it'll be fun.
Well, I like the fact that it's like what they described at Clash with an objective, but I like the fact that when you kill a Titan, a Hunter, or Warlock, it drops an actual crest specific from that. I think that's kind of new and cool. But I also like the fact that there's not going to be anyone on a team that's going to be able to sit back and watch 4 people try to snipe people on the other side of the map, because they're not going to be able to collect the crust. And that's the part that I think is going to change this game entirely. You might be able to have 1 or 2 people or 1 person do it and have the rest of your team try to move forward to push for the collection, but then you run the risk of the other team doing the exact same thing. So it's going to be interesting. I also like the fact that they were talking about the new type of maps that they're going to bring out, and how they describe the 3-lane activities on some of these maps, like for close quarters, mid, and long range. I think it's just going to be completely different than what we're used to. It's going to be really cool. I can't wait.
The game mode, like RedWing said, it doesn't really support hard scoping sniper like Clash would. It does promote fast team-based play, which they have every time they've talked about Supremacy. Even Game Informer, they've always said it's fast-paced, team-based, objective game type. So there's going to be a lot of shotguns, a lot of primaries. God, there's going to be a lot of universal remotes. And the 2 maps they showed, they've said both of them are close quarter maps. Even I think the PlayStation exclusive one, they didn't really touch on it, but what I've heard from Game Informer is that it's even smaller. It's like Anomaly, it's a really small map.
Definitely, the thing I like about it is classic kill confirmed, but with a little bit of that Destiny physics twist where the objective is going to be subject to the map physics. So on a map like Drifter, if you kill a guy jumping at you, his little mark might go flying into the air, and then it's a matter of, do you try jumping up to get it? Is it a lost cause? What do you do?
I'm really looking forward to a game type where all I have to do is kill people and pick up things and not have to worry about it heavily rewarding a passive play style, because that just drives me bonkers. Like this upcoming Iron Banner Clash is notoriously it's notorious for rewarding a passive play style, so I know that this Iron Banner is going to be a slog, at least for me.
I can't stand Clash as Iron Banner. It just promotes camping, and I do predominantly snipe. I don't really like shotguns, but I'll throw one on in a Clash game just to have a bit of fun. You know, run up to those hardscopers and blow their brains out from behind. But this map, this game mode will be good for the first Iron Banner, and if I reckon it's a complete success, Bungie should just keep Supremacy as an Iron Banner playlist. Stop changing the playlist, just keep it as one. But you're right, like, snipers will just be Overwatch. They will just kill people from far, and they'll just have most probably a teammate collecting all the crests for them. You do get a point for killing the person and a point for picking up the crest. So if you kill someone and pick up the crest, you get 2 points. But if you kill someone and someone else picks up the crest, you get 1 point. And then, of course, if you don't pick up the crest and the enemy team does, you get no points. So it's gonna really promote team base. You're not gonna get those lone wolves that have the blowout score on top of the team. So I think the first Iron Banner you'll see a lot of teams playing, which I do feel sorry for those lone wolves that do play Iron Banner, but you're gonna have a hard time in the first Iron Banner after Rise Fine.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be really tough on lone players. I think it's hard for lone players on Rift. It's probably going to be even worse this time.
I have to disagree on that. I think the really straightforward play style as far as the just shotgun rushing goes, probably, assuming they're a shotgunner, it'll probably be second nature to them, assuming sniper meta doesn't somehow creep in here anyway. I don't see how it would, but if it does...
You'll get the hardcore snipers, the ones that have been sniping since day one in Destiny. They'll continue to snipe in this game mode. Those who have picked up snipers since Taken King, I think you might see them start drifting back towards shotguns. I will most probably snipe to try it out if I'm not successful, or if I'm just not contributing enough to my team. I'll throw on a shotgun and just run around and go shotgun. I have a pretty nasty party crasher, and of course I've got that dreaded universal remote sitting in my vault collecting dust.
What I think is very interesting is in this discussion about the play styles and the solos and the team players and all this, and we're talking about snipers and we're talking about shotguns, and we're talking about snipers and we're talking about shotguns. And if anyone from Bungie is listening, we're talking about snipers and we're talking about shotguns, and we're talking about snipers and we're talking about shotguns. So if you could, give us our range back on our fusion rifles, so maybe a couple people will talk about them.
Oh man, I miss vanilla fusion rifles. In vanilla, that's all I used. I had one fusion rifle that I absolutely loved, and I would just melt people across the map with that thing. I miss how good fusion rifles used to feel.
Now, if you're talking about vanilla fusion rifles, are you talking about before they even dropped the 1.1 patch where they fixed Syros, the Vex, and other fusion rifles?
Pre 1.1.1, fusion rifles were sniper rifles. They were insane. RedWingGirl is also a fusion rifle fanatic, and unfortunately she didn't PvP in year one, and so she doesn't know the absolute joy of what it was to use a fusion rifle in vanilla. But even after 1.1.1, they lowered the range, but at that point I contend that they were as good as they've ever been. Like I said, they were legitimately broken at launch with the range, but 1.1.1, they were phenomenal, and they were the most fun weapon to use in the game. They took skill, they took timing, but they were rewarding, and they were a legitimate counter to shotguns because of the range that they had. And we were also a legitimate counter to the players that try to snipe from mid to closer range, which now there is no counter to that. And yeah, so like I said, before 1.1.1, like I said, it was insanely cool, but it was broken stupid too. But said I wish they'd revert it back to that 1.1.1 update.
Fusion rifles, I can't use them. I tried a new one, couldn't use it, threw on a shotgun and just ran around and caused havoc with that. I didn't start sniping really until midway through Dark Below, before I left Destiny for 3 months because I was bored of it. But yeah, you are right. If they do increase the range a bit and maybe a little bit of stability bust as well, because I still find it kicks like a mule, they'll be perfect for dealing with shotgun rushes and, like you said, close range to mid-range snipers. If I'm in close range, I will not try and snipe you, because if I miss you, I'm pretty much up shit creek without a paddle, and so that's why I have a primary for. I do tend at close range to mid-range. I normally run with a PDX. I'll try and engage you with my primary. If I think I can get a headshot on you, I will try a snipe, but if I miss, I know I'm dead.
You know, one thing I've always really liked about fusion rifles is how diverse that class of weapon feels. And I think there's a few changes that can make them really nice, like bringing down the vertical recoil just a little bit more would help a lot. Increasing the muzzle velocity on the entire weapon class would help. And man, that bolt despawn when you die, that's what's really got me hung up on them. Then it's kind of really made them unreliable, at least for me, because every time I use one, I usually end up dying first. Just as soon as I get the bolts out, I get killed.
Yeah, fusion rifles are like the RPGs of COD 4. You'll just sit there halfway through the burst and boom, they're gone. GG. I think Souls has actually made quite a few comments on that before in the forums. I think you might have struck a nerve.
One or two of them, I think, at some point. So, go ahead, Redwing.
I just think they need range. Just give them some more range, and I think they'd be okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what Bungie's thoughts are and why they don't want them to have it, but like I said, if you could have played them in year one, like I said, the situations that are so frustrating now where, you know, a sniper is 25 yards and they're sniping you, but you can only take half of their health with your fusion rifle from that distance, you know, or the shotgun is rushing you and you can't get off a second shot because you have to be just that close to them before firing that first shot. Those situations didn't exist in year one because you had that range to contend with both. So something that I also want to talk about here, they showed a little bit of the new maps today. Redwing, you were talking about the 3-lane philosophy, and another thing that I was shocked when you live tweeted it to me during the stream, and we've talked about it. We had Trin on talking level design a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the lack of any symmetrical maps in Destiny, and lo and behold, they're putting in a symmetrical map. So I'd like to know everyone's thoughts on that.
Well, this comes right back to what I was saying earlier. For tournament play, you really, really want that consistency. and a symmetrical map's going to deliver that. So if they are ramping up and packaging this to, be a competitive esport game, then yeah, more symmetry is what the game will need. And there's a lot of good maps that are out there. Like, I think Pantheon is a really nice symmetrical map. It's got, a nice 3-lane setup, and I don't know, there's a few other maps that I really enjoy playing on. Well,
they have made a few good 3-lane maps, like you said, Pantheon. There's Burning Shrines, a 3-lane map. Rusted Lands is a 3-lane map. Bannerfall sort of is a 3-lane map, but not really. And then they do have good symmetrical maps, like Burning Shrine and Bannerfall are pretty much symmetrical maps. But it is good, like you said, you do need symmetrical maps, because that's the number one complaint about Trials, how the maps, a ton of them support one side. One side gets the better spawn, and if you get a bad spawn in Trials, it's pretty much your chances of winning are very limited, and Bungie's already came out with their data and proven that if you start from the bad side on a certain map, you're less likely to win compared to someone who starts on a good side of the map, which is, that one can be down to Widow's Court. If you get the top spawn, you're more likely to win than if you get the bottom spawn. The two maps they didn't show, we just hope they're symmetrical. I know one of them's supposed to be a very large map similar to Widow's Court, I think someone was saying. But don't know about the last other map that they didn't talk about.
Oh god, I just had like a nightmare about Trials on Black Shield. Black Shield is the reason I don't do Trials anymore, and the lag.
Oh, one of the new maps does have a center where it has doors on it, so you can expect a lot of complaints about that map when it becomes Trials.
Is that the PlayStation exclusive, or is that a neutral one?
That's a neutral one. The neutral one they talked about will have, it's the large map that I was describing. It has doors in the center, so you can run through the center, and they said if you go through the doors, you're likely to get picked off by someone.
So we're doomed.
Pretty much. Icarus, they refer to Icarus like Anomaly. So you've got the big inside center where they said most of the engagements will do, and then they'll have a ring going around the outside where they said a few Guardians will patrol it, but most of the fighting will be done inside, Anomaly. Well, in Anomaly, most of the fighting is done on B point, because that's where everyone pretty much floods into.
They also showed that new arena too, which kind of reminded me of Prison of Elders, but sort of an arena, kind of different.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of that. That'll be very interesting. I hope it's not like just kind of a prison clone. I hope there's a little more going on than prison, but yeah, I'm very interested to see how that actually plays out.
I think what happened there was it really gives off that prison vibe when you see the boss, like that shell, that sphere that unfolds into two halves the same way it does now in prison. I feel like it cues in too much into that old nostalgia, and that might be why people have that fear that it could be the same. I think it will be very much more like an offering or an item you place somewhere that starts it. I'm hoping it feels more like that than just a traditional, walk in here, something's gonna pop out and have fun.
Icon Forge, how they described it in the vid doc was it's a mixture between Prison of Elders and Court of Oryx, but more in a Thunderdome type thing of Mad Max, where you jump in there, it starts, and it's just pretty much horde mode, and if you don't kill the enemy, like Game Informer said, if you don't kill enemies quick enough, the boss won't spawn. If you don't kill the boss, you don't get any rewards. So I think it's going to be a fast-paced PvE engagement where you've got to be on your toes, kind of like the the Oracle stage in the Vault of Glass. If it's like that, I'll I can see myself being there once a week to get my rewards. But if it's like PoE, I'll do it to get my high light level, and then after I've got where I'm satisfied with my light level, I'll most probably never visit it again, unless it has something to do with the artifacts. Then I'll have to visit eight weeks in a row.
Did you guys pick up on the fact that those artifacts are going to be done or offered once a week? So you won't be able to just go out and try to get all of them. You'll only have an opportunity to get one artifact per week.
That might be one per character. We're not too certain yet. It looks like the vendor offers 3 per week, right? So it could be 3.
The way when I saw it, like you said, the vendor offers 3, but the way they talked about it, unless I'm wrong about this, is you get that artifact. It's a blank artifact, but then you go up to the statue of the Iron Lord you want to have, and they give you you put it on the statue, and then it gets their memory in it. Unless I'm wrong about that, unless they mean like you get the artifact from the vendor, do the quest to get it, and then go to the Iron Lord, and then eventually it gets its power.
Well, either way that it works, I'm just glad to see that I can equip an item that could potentially completely change how I use my character. Because I'm foreseeing a really, really nasty hunter build with 2 melees, 2 grenades, full strength discipline build, and that is all I would run in PvP. Because I think Shadow Shot in PvP is total crap. I use it and then I get killed and there's no teammates around to profit off of it. So if I was in PvP, that's exactly how I would play that class.
You're a monster.
In memory of Fellwinter, how could you like him? I still have nightmares about that shotgun.
So we were playing some Iron Banner before we started, and it's funny you speak of that because I'm running a hunter and I'm running full strength and I've got the dual smoke grenades and I fucking hate tether. And so we were actually on Black Shield, and it was a fairly close match. We were up by probably maybe like 800 or 1,000, and we were closing in on the end, and Redwing had her golden gun come up, and I told her, well, I've got my tether in 15 seconds, and then another of our teammates said, I've got my golden gun too. Well, this team had been sitting in the center room, like all sniping out of the center the entire game, and so my tether came up, we opened the door, I jumped sideways, I shot my tether, and the animation carried me sideways where I shot it right into the side of the door next to me. And so I did absolutely nothing. So they had their golden guns and no one tethered. So yeah, I am absolutely stoked to be able to get rid of my tether and have something else give me that dual smoke, and then run Knucklehead Radar or something.
That artifact should give you enhanced stats too, I believe, right?
Yeah, it increases all your stats. So they haven't confirmed by how much, but it's most probably like the RAM, so it's only by 1 point. Which, I see that being a lot of Stormcallers, because even yes, Storm Trance is a good thing, good super. But if you can run claws. Now, with that thing, you don't have to run Claws of Akamara. You can put on the Void Fang Vestments and always have a grenade every time you spawn in for trials or any PvP mode. I can see, like we did bring up the competitive play in the tournament, so I can see that one being banned pretty quickly because it would just cause too much rage.
Well, I think it's a fair trade to give up your super for, a couple of extra goodies, because I know there is no Striker Titan on Earth that will give up their Fist of Havoc for double melee, double grenades. There's no way.
I'm main a Titan. I don't even play Striker Titan. I'll use hammers. Hammers is the best super for Titan. I know a lot of people running around Jugger Scrub, which gives me more nightmares. But after playing it for so long in Year 1 and struggling in PvP as a Striker Titan, because Blade Dancers were so broken back then, I just moved to Hammers, so I've been enjoying Hammers. But you are right, no Titan will give up their super for a thing, for double melee or grenade. I can only see it really being effective on Stormcallers, maybe Sunsingers with double firebolts with the igniting flame, and Stormcallers and Night Stalkers. A few Blade Dancers might do it for double skip and the double melee, and if Hunters eventually get those gauntlets for the skip grenades, that will be nightmare.
Well, the first Iron Banner is going to be on the Supremacy map, so it should be pretty entertaining to see how that turns out.
Shoulder charge everywhere.
As long as they don't nerf it.
And you guys get Sector 618 with the Razavine. Have fun with that map.
I was just thinking, because of the way some objectives are tied into the map design, did they make a comment whether or not the private matches would, like say you wanted to do Rift on First Light, would that even be possible, I suppose? I guess no one asked that question, huh?
I think they did hint that certain game modes can only be played on certain maps. Like Sixes can be played on any map. I think it's only really the Taken King maps. I think these new maps will also support Rift. If any map you play a certain game mode on, I think you can play in private matches. You can play that game on it. So I don't know. It'll be something to see. I'm sure someone will eventually ask the question to Bungie if you can play all game modes on all maps.
Could you imagine combined arms on the Anomaly? I just don't think that those type of game modes would be available on every map.
Let a man dream.
Hey, they have Mayhem on Timekeeper, and that is such a small map.
But it's fun.
And it is fun, and it's actually something that you had posted about a couple weeks ago. That is actually, this is bringing to the game, is they're bringing that casual fun where you can go in and Mayhem will be accessible, like anytime we want to play it, we can go in and play Mayhem, or whatever game mode. And so I think it's going to be such an improvement to this game for so many reasons, beyond the fact of bringing in the clan functionality, people being able to learn maps, to learn their weapons, and hopefully, not go into PvP and die and be so ready to scream nerf at every other class and weapon they die to, because maybe they'll have a little more knowledge going in. But it also brings in just that casual fun element, and it's something that you'll be able to do with now not just 6 but up to 12 other friends, where before it was just you were doing the raid and that was pretty much it, or you were running sweaty PvP. So I think that it's going to be huge, that level of casual fun it's going to bring to this game.
I think with these private matches and all that, like you said, if you want to go have fun with all your friends and all that, if you have enough friends to put a match together, you go into private matches. If you don't, you still have to play normal PvP, but then when people start complaining that PvP is so sweaty and all that, Bungie has something they can say. They say, go play private matches. If you can't find enough people, unfortunately, it might be simple excuses, tough luck. We can't... So many people demand Bungie to do everything for them. I understand the whole, we won't find your teammates, you have to find them for the whole raid and trials thing. If you try and play trials with a bunch of randoms off the forums, you're going to have a bad time. Raids are pretty much there's not that bad because you can learn, you can communicate, unless you get a obnoxious, narcissistic, egotistic person that just won't listen, and you just feel like you want to beat him the shit out of the fire team, but then you realise he's the fire team leader, so you just leave. I've had that done. I've had to do that a few times. But private matches will bring fun back. I can see a lot of mayhem being played. Most of my friends have already messaged me with private matches ideas. Mayhem's just pretty much on top of the list for everything, and I do enjoy mayhem. Like you said, it's just mindless fun, but there are those out there that think mayhem should be competitive. No, Bungie themselves said mayhem is a game mode you go in with a group of friends and you just have mindless funs with a bunch of other people on the opposite team and just have fun. And I do hope eventually with Destiny 2 they do add more fun game modes like Mayhem. And with the SRL coming back, I think SRL is also going to have private matches. So when that eventually comes back in, you'll be able to do private races. Even you were able to do it beforehand, but now you can set up which map you want to have on, maybe put some restrictions in as well. I don't know what they've got planned. They really didn't go into much depth on what the future brings, but with these private matches, it's going to open up a whole bag of fun.
You know, what you said about Mayhem is completely right. I can tell just by how ridiculous the scoring system is and all that stuff that it's supposed to be over the top and kind of stupid because you're just supposed to go in there and have fun. And I really do like Mayhem. I hate the Crucible. I really do. I'm not good at it, and I rarely succeed. But whenever Mayhem's up and I'm on, yeah, I like to go in there and just spam supers and grenades and have a good time.
Just a question for all of you. What do you define as having fun in PvP? Is it you performing well, so like having a good KD or being high on the team list? Your team winning, or going in there with a group of friends and just running around, win or lose, you're just having a bunch of laughs? Because when I look on the forums, a lot of people have a different opinion on what is fun in PvP or not. Mine is, I don't care if I win or lose as long as me and my friends are having fun, and fun gets affected when lag kicks in. It's the number one thing we always hate, is just pure lag. Once lag kicks in, we all just go, why do we even play this game anymore?
I agree. I'm the same exact way you are. I don't care if I win or lose, as long as that I'm with friends and we're having fun. But when the lag is an issue, it's terrible. It's frustrating.
I would say that different things can be fun. It's the unpredictability of PvP that makes it fun. You don't have to perform well to have fun, but when you die in the monotonous way repetitively, that's what takes away from the fun. It's like, lag isn't fun unless it's like off the top lag and it's just bonkers. But if it's only enough to affect the gameplay minimally, but like it just shows in your performance, then that's what's not fun.
For me, yeah, everybody likes winning, but I know when I get outplayed. I know that I'm not very good at the Crucible. There's a lot of other games that I play competitively in. I try to do it with Destiny. It's just that, when I gun somebody down and then I die, and then after I respawn, I get the points for killing them, that it just drives me up the wall. I can't stand it. It drives me bonkers.
Well, we barely got to touch this topic of the new armor and the ways that you can change it, which also looked really cool and interesting. Change your gun, what it looks like, change your armor, what it looks like. And that flaming Titan chest was so cool. I want it. It better not be a PS exclusive.
Yeah.
It is.
No! Don't say that! Please don't say that. No.
They haven't announced what we're getting.
I don't think it's a PS exclusive. I think that's the Iron Lord set. But yeah, I'm actually glad you brought it up because I didn't think of that, because I didn't know what to think of the ornaments. Obviously we thought originally it was going to be a transmog, and then we thought it's not going to be transmog, but what they showed and the way that they were changing the gear and the way particularly they were changing the skins on weapons was really incredible, I thought, and I was really surprised at the extent of what they were doing.
Last time I was on the show, we were talking about Chroma, and I was saying that, it's a step in the right direction. Will it give everybody everything that they want? Probably not, but I'm excited to see it, and, this is just another step in that direction. I'm glad that we're getting it. I think it's going to be great.
I'm looking forward to that black and gold Hawk Moon, as long as they buff hand cannons. But you are right, like with the flaming chest, I think that's the Iron Lord's armor set, so everyone gets that. They didn't show you any PlayStation exclusives to my knowledge, besides Icarus, the map. We do have a set of Iron Banner armor coming and a weapon. But yeah, the ornaments are a good way in the thing, because everyone can change what you want to look about. You can put one on if you want it, or you can just leave it off. I do gotta say that Trials of Osiris Titan 1 does look pretty good. I hate that my Titan's gonna look like a beetle once I get all the armor, but it looks decent.
Which beetle are you, Ringo, or are you John?
Scarab.
It was a joke. It was a Beatles reference.
I'm aware, I just didn't fall for
wait.
it.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to say, I like the ornament thing, but I was a little surprised by it in a bad way. I thought it was going to be like actual physical armor alterations, like an extra piece on the gear or a different type of material used, and it ended up just being slightly more complex chromas, from what I can tell. Is that how the armor is working with ornaments?
Some of them, with the Iron Lord's armor pieces, I haven't seen them without the ornaments on, but I think with them, because they actually add flaming wolves cutouts into your armor pieces, I think that's the one really changes. I know with the Trials one, it just puts that holographic type stuff over your armor, and with the Raid one, it just causes the Seaver parts of your raid gear to glow. I don't think they showed the Iron Banner one, but I really thought when they brought out this ornament thing is that there was multiple sets for each armor set. So there's one for Iron Banner, one for the raid, and one for Trials, and one for the Iron Lords. I thought there was multiple versions of ornaments for that, but there's only one set for per armor set, which I'm pretty disappointed about, because eventually if everyone collects them, we're all going to look the same again. But it does I think it does changes with shaders and all that, so they are moving in the right direction, giving us customization ability, but I don't think they've quite reached the point where I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed when they eventually do get them to a certain point, and they're going to run straight to where everyone knows where they run to when they want to complain. But Bungie is moving in the right direction to make us look different. And a lot of people say this should have been in from day one, but that could be down to the old consoles that they couldn't do this.
Now they just have to allow us to change our character, our actual character, like our face and hair and maybe even sex, whatever you want to just completely change your character, you should be able to do it.
Can I have a beard, please?
Just delete it and start a new one. I've deleted my Hunter 11 times.
No way.
But the Grimoire...
I'm all original.
I know the feeling. My Titan's the only character I've carried through all the way from... Well, of course they reset it, but I was in the Alpha, so I was a Titan in Alpha. Beta, I played it at Warlock, and then I went back to Titan from day one, and my Titan's the only class that I've never deleted. I've deleted my Warlock 5 times, and my Hunter 11 times. I do not like Hunters.
Actually the same way. My only surviving original character is my Titan. I still want him to have a beard, though. When will that be a thing? When can that be confirmed, please, Bungo?
Destiny 3, they already announced it.
Are you serious?
No, I'm making that up.
Well, what armor set are you guys excited for? Mine, because I'm a PvP player, is the Trials and the Iron Banner set. The Iron Banner set does look really nice. It reminds me of Skyrim, which is a game I absolutely love.
I'm going for whatever matches my year 1 Jolder sash. They're bringing that back, and that means I gotta find a set to match. It'll probably be a mixture of Iron Lord and Iron Banner gear.
I have no idea. I have to see it all on first. Look in the mirror.
My hunter goes one of two ways. It's either going to be raid gear or dead orbit gear.
Did anyone see the cutscenes with the Iron Lords? Where you actually see Yoda, not Yoda, Jolda, and her machine gun. Jolda is the Titan, the heavy machine gun's named after her.
Was she like going all kick-ass, like just blowing lead in everyone? Was that her and Saladin was chasing after her in the Siva pits or something?
Yeah, I think that was one, because I think there was two of them. I think it was Jolda and whatever her partner is. I can't remember who they said she was partnered with. But I think they were the last two to sacrifice themselves to seal Siva, and I think Lord Saladin was running to them to stop them from sacrificing themselves.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I thought it was really a couple unexpected weeks that we've gotten from Bungie. First with all the Game Informer reveals last week, and then with this today. So it's interesting, and I know there was a lot of people on our friends list today playing Destiny again, where it had been a little bit barren. So hopefully this will bring people back in, and we'll see. But hopefully it's awesome, and hopefully it's just a sign of things to come as we move forward into year 3 and eventually Destiny 2. I want to wrap this up. I want to thank all 3 of you for joining us today. RedWingGirl, I want to thank you as always for being here, and it's, like I said, a very, very interesting reveal today, and we'll see. You know, obviously this was very PvP focused. I think there will be more to come with PvE. I think we're going to see more of what's on the other side of the wall before it releases next month. But I'm very interested to know, everyone on the forums, what you think as well of what we've seen and your thoughts on the custom games and the fact that we're finally getting these things that we've been asking for so long. So thank you to Dova, Laughing Man, and Ravenous for being here. And again, anyone out there that's listening, we appreciate you as always. And if you would like to participate on a future episode, just get in touch with us and let us know. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Hey, thanks again for the invite, Souls. It's always nice talking to you guys.
It's really awesome being on, and since it's only midday here, I'll say have a good day.
Thanks for having me on. It was good times. I like talking about it. My brother won't let me talk to him about it anymore. He's a Call of Duty fan, and he's just offended.
Well, we just shunned Call of Duty fans, so thank you. Good night, everyone.